Hey guys, Michael from Modulus here. I'm just doing a quick video about the 6G15 reverb unit that I've been sent to do some work on. What it is a customer who bought the chassis and faceplates from us, and we also supplied the turret board. And he built it, and it had, well, there was no reverb to be heard for starters, but as soon as you put the mix control to the reverb section, it just hummed, buzzed. It was just noise big time. So I said, well, send it up to me. I'm planning to do a kit for this amp anyway, so send it up to me. Let me have a look at it and see if we can figure out exactly what's been going on with it. So he built it using the Mojotone layout. I don't know if that's true to original Fenders or not, but this is hopefully this video will help anybody else that uses that layout to resolve some of the noise issues. So first of all, when looking at the layout, you need to realize that there's multiple ground loops set up in that amp in the layout. So they've got this main ground point over here, but it's also grounding through the input jack socket. It's also grounding through the output jack socket. It's also grounding through the foot switch socket. The way he's built this is the reverb send is not grounded through there, but the reverb return is grounded through there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ground connection points on the chassis, 6 if you include the safety earth, which he's done over there separately. So that's quite a lot of ground paths that can cause all sorts of issues. The other thing is the original schematic shows a half-wave rectifier, and the Mojotone layout uses a half-wave rectifier, but I just could not get this amp to be quiet, even with fussing about with different grounding methods and things using a half-wave rectifier. So I've built a bridge rectifier using the same board layout, and that just reduced the amount of noise significantly. That and then the grounding. So I haven't fixed all the ground loops in this amp, so my customer can do that. And now, the other big issues here is there's kilometers of wire or miles of wire in this amp that just can all be cut down and tidied up and reduced. It's a bit of a rat's nest. So the heater wires and the wires going to the sockets are all just jammed together, and basically these wires will all be talking to each other. And you really have to try and run your heater wires. If I was going to run the yellow wires the way he's done it here, first of all I would reduce the length of them significantly, but I would be running the heater wires into the corner of the chassis instead. Or if I wanted to run the heater wires the way he's done it here, where they're up in the air, is I'd be looking to run all these yellow wires against the chassis so they're coming in at 90 degrees. You need to keep the wires away from each other, and they need to be running perpendicular to the heater wires as much as possible. But the way I've actually sorted out some of the wiring on this socket, because this is where a lot of noise was coming in as well, just to get them away from heater wires and get them away from all the other wires. But I mean, I would reduce those wire lengths and all of that to tidy that up. The heater center tap was connected to this point here as well. That's the heater center tap with the two 100 ohm resistors. But because I've got all the inputs and things connected straight to the chassis, I really wanted that just to go straight to attach that to the first, to the return point for the 6v6. Okay. So if you're building this with a Mojotone layout, look at the grounding. It's really poor and needs to be resolved. If I was building this myself, I would ground the input jack with a lock washer. I would drill out these ones and fit isolating washers so that it's not grounding in those points, and then I'd run separate grounds to the relevant parts of the circuit for those points, to try and get the build as quiet as possible. Alright, this is the filter cap board. Again, the original layout, this would be grounded to the chassis, and that would be grounded to the chassis, which means the charging current for this filter cap is running through the chassis. And again, I don't like any current running through the chassis, so I've just put a loop in there, so that's the lowest resistance path. But because there are still some ground loops, there might still be a little bit of current running in the chassis anyway. But doing that certainly has helped keep things quiet. So it's running much quieter even with the rat's nest look at the moment. But yeah, hopefully if you've built something off the Mojotone layout, this will help you just get it running a bit quieter. First thing I would do is definitely go swap out that rectifier, and then try and sort through everything else. But it's really important to get this wiring all tidied up. I mean, this is all high voltage wires coming in here, and you know, and you've got signal wires. You know, this is all signal wires, quite sensitive. That could be causing and picking up noise throughout this amp. Okay, right. Hope that's helpful, guys. And we'll be getting a kit for this in the shop soon, and I'll be doing a modular layout for it. So it'll be really easy to follow, and we'll produce a really low noise floor amp. Okay, thanks, guys. Cheers.